So, hi everyone, and welcome to our YouTube channel, which is Ups and Downs of Life in Namibia. So today I have a very special person. So she's close to my house. She's close to my family. She's a family member. So I know some of you might know her because she's also having a YouTube channel, and not only a YouTube channel, she really document most of her lifestyle. I'm not saying most of her lifestyle, but things that she does, and she's somebody who traveled like the world. I know you did. So, and this is Fenny, and Fenny is going to tell us how she grew up. Okay, how she grew up, where she is now, how her growth as a child is impacting her life so to today. So yes, if you are new to this channel, please, thank you for coming. If you are already a follower, and so thank you for supporting and thank you for watching. Do subscribe, do ring the bell, and yeah, let's get into it. So Fenny, welcome, and it's good to have you. So, by the way, I was just talking with her now that she is a lecturer and she teach geography. And all along I thought she teach geology. And I didn't really know the difference between the two, so she was just even explaining the difference between geology, geography, and the other one you said is what?
Yeah, okay. So thank you for clicking. Yes. I'm Ndapewa Fenny Nakanyete. And yes, I am a geography lecturer, particularly human geography lecturer. So basically, a lot of people cannot really distinguish between geology and geography, but the easiest to distinguish them apart is that geology actually covers the interior part of the earth, like mineral contents, all other types, activities that happen within the earth interior. Geography, on the other hand, actually focuses mostly on the surface of the earth. Whatever activities are happening outside, the earth, whether it is actually human-related activities or it is also geological, but that are coming outside the earth, and then that is what geography really focuses on. Now, the sub-discipline that I'm mostly involved in is human geography. So human geography really has to do with people, places, and settlement, just in essence. So it's about social aspects of societies.
That is also geography.
Yeah, anything. Geography is basically anything as long as it has a geographic location.
Oh, okay.
Because it revolves around the earth. So whether it's economic based activities, it is also social activities, medical aspect like especially epidemiology, anything at all that is happening on the surface of the earth is geographical.
Is that why you travel a lot?
Yes. Yes and no. Yes and no, because I think I travel not necessarily because of my career, although it has a significant impact. In fact, I love not just reading things, I would love to experience them as well. Like, I would wish not just to read and explain content of my courses to students based on literature. I wouldn't want to do that. So I would love to have both experiences and also now the knowledge from the books. But yeah, I mainly travel, like it's something that is, I think I'm made to travel. after all, I was born by people away from home, and I guess
we all wish to travel. I just wonder, how do you do it? Because most of the time, even for me to travel just to my in-laws country, Kenya, I will hustle with that ticket. But for you, you go today, you are in here, tomorrow. You should follow her and see how she travels. Today you are in Nairobi, tomorrow you are in Abuja, the other day you are... How? Because as we struggle really for that, just a normal ticket.
But I can almost assure you that traveling is not expensive per se. Of course, I know. I think it's about priorities. But for me, I really... I don't spend much on travels per se. As long as I have a ticket to get where I am going, then most of the time I'm sorted, because then when I'm in a country, I'm either being hosted, although nowadays I became a little bit, when you are hosted, actually, you have to kind of tune your routine to the family that you are staying with. But I think I am now, if the family members that you are staying with are waking up at 6 o'clock, then you also have to wake up at 6 o'clock, even if you don't feel like it. But now, it's only now that I started, for example, traveling and staying at lodges and things like that. But really, a ticket could cost, yes, it could be expensive to some, but as I said, I think it's about priorities. So for me, a ticket that costs 8,000, return ticket is affordable.
Ticket that costs 8,000.
Yeah.
Which flight do you use?
Ethiopian airline, so cheap.
Ethiopian airline, my return
sometimes.
ticket costs 15,000.
It depends on, you have to make sure that you actually book at your ticket at the right time, if there is something like that. Because...
Twice? Is it twice or three? Yeah, 3 times. Yes, even my husband, when he traveled, he paid that. We always pay somewhere there a return ticket.
For me, when I went, my recent, no longer recent, because it's almost a year ago now. My, I traveled to Egypt in December last year, and my ticket was actually 8,000. Return ticket. And even now I will be going to Germany, and Ethiopian airline is not always convenient, that's a fact. But when I wanted to book their ticket, but this one was a one-way ticket, so I was to pay 5,000 to Frankfurt, Germany. So it depends. If you book, of course, today and you're flying tomorrow,
probably that's why our tickets are always
because
expensive.
I usually book 1 month in advance. At least 1 month.
No, but I probably you book with what? With Ethiopian Airlines?
Yes, exactly, with Ethiopian Airline.
Because maybe ours we always go on agents. I think that's why. Yeah. Because for me, I always go on internet. Just quickly internet and booking. That's it.
Last time I booked for a ticket that was 15,000. I don't even remember. Almost all the time I book for my ticket, it's under 10,000.
So in March, we have a conference in Abuja.
Yeah.
So that means I need to book early.
Yeah, at least by February you should have your ticket. Yeah.
I'll even talk to to the doctor that we are going with, because we wrote a paper together. So and I was complaining that it's so expensive. As much as I want to write and I want to go and present papers, and I think I'm a kind of a person who have issues with money.
We all do.
I always have issues with money. So anyway, Fenny, tell us how you grew up. So where did you grow up?
Okay, so I was born in Exile.
Exile,
as in during Namibian independence struggle, a lot of people left Namibia. My mother was one of them, so was my father. So they left Namibia, some to seek better education opportunities, because here the apartheid system privileged white people and it disadvantaged greatly Namibian people. So they were not given educational opportunities in the country. So a lot of young people, my mother by that time, I think she was 18, 19, she left while she was actually studying at Odibo.
I went to Odibo, by the way.
Coincidence. So she left the country and they went into Angola. I mean, Odibo is like few kilometers, 5 or 10, less than 10.
Because we used to walk there. You just cross
the borders.
The borders so, in Angola.
So they crossed into Angola and they ended up at this refugee camp called that's in Zambia where I was born, Kasinga, called Kasinga. So in 1978, when the South African soldiers bombed the refugee camp, the Kasinga massacre, my mother was actually wounded and as a result was taken to Cuba by the Cuban government, who actually aided the survivors. Some of them went into Cuba, and she studied there for like
from Angola she went to Cuba.
She was flown into
because
Cuba.
She was injured.
I mean,
so she survived there.
She survived, like a number of them. And so then she went to study in Cuba, and then she returned. Namibia was not independent yet by the time. And in Angola, I think because my mother and my father are actually from nearby villages, so either they knew each other before. My mother passed away when I was 12 or 11, turning 12. So there are things that I wish I knew, and I would never know, unfortunately.
Because I was just about to ask you, did they know each other?
I would think so. I would think so, because I think last time I probably would need to ask my father about this. But last time I was at my father's 60th birthday. They were talking about my father, I think, having gone to study, I don't know if it was Odibo, but really, my mother is from Ongonga, my father is from Oshikuyu village,
so it's just,
and it's next to each other. So I think they would have known each other before that. And then my mother, when she returned to Angola from Cuba, Namibia was not independent yet, and I guess my mother and my father met each other again. And they made me. So then my mother, when she was pregnant, she actually went to Nyango, to Zambia, and that's where I was born. So she was there as a teacher at a refugee camp, where Namibians lived, and as a result, I was born in Nyango refugee camp in Zambia. But then anyway.
But it's such a history, though. Now, I really understand why she travels. Because you have traveled even before you were born. Can you? That is true, though.
That's true.
You have traveled even before you were born. So I think it just makes sense that, like personally myself, when I look at you, I don't see you as a Namibian, and I don't see you as somebody who belongs to a specific country. I think there are just people like you who don't really belong. You can see that this person doesn't really have. You can't even figure it out what nationality are you? All we know is that you are a black person and you could be an African or you can be a European or whatever, as long as you have a black color.
Yes, I would like, I'm very much African. This is how much African I am. Proudly. Very Pan-Africanist. And yeah, I totally understand. You're not the very first person to say that at all. And I actually sometimes going even into the city center in Windhoek, I would encounter so many people who would ask me like, what tribe are you, or where are you from? And when I say I'm Namibian, most of the time I wouldn't even say I am Omuambo, because I think sometimes it depends on, people would like to put you in a box when they ask where are you from or what tribe you are, and then they want, they have their own idea of who is what and what they are or what they should be like. So I would always say I'm proudly African, or I would also say I'm African, I'm from Africa, just if I want to, but then also I could say I'm from Namibia, just to also make people aware in the country that, not everyone is like this idea of what a Namibian person is like.
For me, I'm a Zambian. They always say, if I'm not a Zambian, probably I'm a Zimbabwean. Oh my God. Yesterday I went to that function for Nigerians.
Yeah.
One guy came to me and said, you are from Zimbabwe? I said, no. Why would you say I'm from Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
No, your tone. I'm like, my tone. I said, no, my name is Yalo. So you want to say you are a Vambu? I said, yes. You don't look like it. I'm like, anyway, I'm used to it, but anyway, I'm a Vambu.
Yeah.
So tell us now, from Zambia, and then what happened?
So then we came back. I was born just under 2 years before Namibia got independent.
Okay.
So when Namibia got its independence in 1990, my mother and many others returned.
By that time you were 2 years?
I was about 2 years, yes.
Oh, okay.
And to be honest, I wish I could remember anything about Zambia, but I don't. The only thing I have of my Zambian experience are marks that I have on one of my legs, because in the refugee camp, I had a bicycle as a child, and apparently I fell in a dip as I was cycling, and there were broken bottles there.
Oh.
And interestingly, these marks never faded. They are there.
A long time.
It's amazing, yeah. I don't know. It must have been also very serious.
Really,
but again, I actually embrace them because they carry so much history of me. And I really like that. It might sound ridiculous.
No, it's not.
I really like it.
It's a good thing that you, although you were very young, at least I have this on my body and it came from where I originated.
Yeah, that's true. So we moved here to Namibia when I was about 2 years old. Then I think when I was 4 to 5, I moved to my paternal grandparents' home. And that's where I had most of my childhood. So I was actually staying in a village in Ashikuyu. I usually wouldn't say I'm from there because that was one phase of my life, and I have many others, but apparently I'm from there.
From Ashikuyu?
Apparently, that's what people say.
From the age of 4, you have been in Ashikuyu?
From around the age of 4 until around the age of 4, because I do remember when I started primary school, I was 5.5, I think, and yeah, I remember that time. Exactly that time. And I also remember the time that I lived with my mother at Oimbadalunga, which is just at the borders, just on the
Namibia
close to
and
Chicago, yeah, right at the borders. Like I remember we used to go. No, Katiti is Rundu side.
No, but even Poshikango, there is Katritri. We used to go to Katritri.
Really?
Yeah, not Katritri. These borders here, I know we used to.
No, these ones were not like a border gate or anything like that.
Okay.
It was just you see the fence on the. There was actually a very interesting man-made borders which Africans should get away with. I mean, what did I say? They should deal away with. So. So I remember we crossing the road to the other side of Angola, collecting mangeti nuts, and all sort of wood to cook. So that I have like fresh memory of that, and I should have been like 3, 4.
Because I think from the age of 3, because even my son now he's 6, but he remembers things that happened like when he was 3, and I thought he wouldn't remember them, but he does remember. So then I know that from the age of 3, then we can really remember what happened.
Right, and that's I think it's really. It's saving me to remember that sort of because. I didn't have much time to live with my mother, and the memories that I have of her, even at that young age, really is something that I would never want to lose. I wouldn't. So that just remembering these little things really made my heart feel at home. But I do know very well that at the age of 5.5, I started school at Oshawapala Combined School, and I was staying, of course, at my grandmother. May her soul rest in peace, and my grandfather, of course. I don't have much memories of my grandfather. That's why I sometimes, because he died exactly when I was in 1994 when I was grade 1.
Oh.
Yeah, so
1994.
That
means you were 7, or how old were you?
I think I was 6.
Oh,
yeah, I was 6 because I do remember I was
the youngest in the class.
Yeah, indeed. I've always been the youngest in class, but not anymore. Since 2017, I was rather the oldest in class.
I have been. I think for me, from grade 2, I've been the oldest in the class. Because from grade 1, there was 2 years, 2.5 years, I can say, in the middle there when I didn't go to school to go in. So when I now got back to school, I was really way old, like 3 years older than the rest in the class. What saved me, I was really tiny, and I looked exactly the same age. Yeah, the others are really way big. You might even think they are older, but I was from grade 2, so I was always the eldest.
I remember watching your story. By the way, I'm not on YouTube per se. Sometimes I share these stories, not stories, even videos of my travels, but like once in a year. But please do that thing when they say the link to the story.
But it's true, because for me, I think I started school very well, because my kindergarten, I think I was also 5, and then grade 6. At the age of 6, I went to read class. Not really but it was literacy back then. We were combined, they were elderly, and then now us, the young ones. And I went now to grade 1, and that was in 1998. I was in grade 1. So from 1998 in grade 1, so you can imagine 2001, that's when I was in grade 2. So that the 1999 and 2000, I didn't go to school. So I went to school in 2001.
With that, you can tell that the ages between her and I are my grandmother.
No, you are not. You are not a grandmother.
I'm just imagining 2001, I was already grade 6.
I was in grade 2.
Yo, I'm old.
No, it's just because I was supposed to be in grade what? In grade 4?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was supposed to. Is it grade 4? Yeah.
Yeah, because you missed 2 years.
Yes, I missed 2 years, so that means I was supposed to be in grade 4.
But look, we are at the same page now. That's the most important thing, is that it's never late.
It's never late. And you know, me growing up, I was always chasing that's something that I didn't speak about even in my videos, but I was always chasing the age. So when I went in, I always wanted to finish school. In fact, it's what pushed me, I think, to study hard, because I looked at people of my age mate, 1991, they are in grade 4, I am in grade 2. So that pushed me. And even when I finished, I wanted to do a course that I can only do in 3 years so that I can catch up with my age mates.
Yeah.
So it was always me chasing the age. Especially going to university, I really wanted just 3 years. I was just looking for a course that is 3 years, 2 years to finish and go and work. But to be honest, that is not the case. You will chase the years and whatever we imagine, that's not how it turned out. It really turned out completely different. Completely different. I can imagine my age mates that I was chasing back then and where they are now, where I am now. Some of them I'm lecturing them. So it's just at this point that I realized I really wasted my energy just thinking of chasing my age mates.
Absolutely. I think I can also relate to that in so many ways.
I don't even want to chase age this.
It's not worth it.
So from Oshipiyo, what happened? I
lived there, and it's a fact that in our culture, when we are considered to be matriarchal or matrilineal. I always confuse that too. So, but like to have like you are more of your mother's family than your father's. So the treatment you get is quite different. So I felt like an outcast most of the time that I lived, where I lived. And I wasn't treated like, I belonged. But my grandmother, particularly my grandmother, was the most amazing. And sometimes I feel so heartbroken because she died just when I was leaving. She died in 2010. Just when I was leaving for my studies in Spain. And I lived with her and my other family members on my father's side, and I grew up like going to school. I remember very well, on bare feet, and we are from a Fululu, like it's sunny there, and it used to be burning hot. And we would run all the way from school back home, and sometimes it's used by that time, and this is also the time I remember how really climate has changed, how it rained heavily. Yeah, and sometimes you have your books in plastic bags that we used as book bags, and the rain will destroy, like it will, of course you have to be careful when your notebook has or is wet. You have to dry it and all that. But I remember all these things, and I never imagined actually living that life. That was my reality, and that was my future, and my everything. I never ever imagined myself being where I am today, actually. Never have I imagined that I would, for example, become a lecturer, that I will travel to so many countries. I've been to like probably 40 now. I lost count because
40
it's not
countries.
Yeah, the idea is actually to travel like at least as many as possible in the world. But really, like when I lived in Oshikuyu and many other villages until grade 12, I never in my life imagined, going beyond, for example, at least, first degree. Yeah. So the idea was always to do one degree and
that's the end of it.
And get a job and get married or
and
something.
Have children. I know.
It's crazy. Yeah.
For how long have you been in Oshikuyu?
I actually left Oshikuyu when I was turning 10, or I was 10 years old. No, not even when I was 10 or 9. Because I grade 1, 2, 3, 4. So I left when I was in grade 4. That time, I do remember, I went on holiday. I went to my mother, and I really didn't want to go back.
You wanted to stay?
I wanted to stay with my mom. I desired so much to stay with my mother. And I remember like going to see her, to stay with her for holiday, and I told in fact I told her that I wanted to stay because also I had lost a book. In fact, it wasn't me that lost that book, I can almost swear. But it was under my name, and I was recorded to have lost it, and I didn't actually get my certificate. Because by that time, if you lose a book, you don't get your certificate until you buy that book. And chances are that you could actually repeat a grade. Just because you lost the book.
Books were scarce.
And yes, very much scarce. We shared books among like 5, 10 of us. We sometimes even had 2 books in a class of 40 students. So you can imagine how very difficult it was to be a learner in a village. And one thing that I also remember the most, and that always touched my heart, and I think I have adapted to until now, which is not good, is the scarcity of water as a basic need. Like we didn't even have water to drink in this village. I remember we used to go to the Omifima, like areas where they have like the aquifer close by, the underground water is closer. So we would dig some sort of a well, but not so deep, and we would need to fetch water there. But unfortunately, there are times that well doesn't have sufficient water, and therefore you can spend one whole day in school without having even a sip of water. And when it rained a lot, sometimes we had these toilets that were semi-built, and we would actually try to get water out of that. And drink. And living this life today, and after having been through what I had been through, sometimes I you know, it takes me back and it just humbles me even more. And I really hope by now that such situations no longer exist in Namibia.
Let's hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
Let's hope it doesn't.
I hope, but I may doubt that, I will cancel this. How do I do it? Yeah. Yeah. So
You
I-
went to the holiday and then with mom. You didn't come back to school again.
Actually, I came back, and funny, actually, I forgot one point. When I was going, I remember it was December holiday, and my grandmother was in the field